break was approaching, and with it a painful memory of what a second father was to me. My grandfather had passed away during the most festive time of the year. A week after Christmas, we had all been devastated. Life suddenly didn't feel as fair as it was professed, especially for me. I remember spending the rest of the winter holidays in complete silence. That was my way of murdering him. At the school, my friends had shown me their solidarity, remarking more times than I could count on my fingers that they were there for my pain. I thanked them silently. A meeting simply consonants had become my new comfort zone. It made her less. In the bright morning sun, with the noise of the tires hitting the road on the way to school, I noticed out the corner of my eye the nervousness in my depressed mother. A thin smile that made me feel impatient, as if the oxygen in the vehicle was not enough for both of us. I wanted to know the reason for her attitude. Well, I demanded. When her crimson lips finally parted, I wanted to open the door of the moving vehicle and throw myself to a painful death. You know, dear, she had started with a brief pause, listening to the rain. My dad used to spend this month before the summer. Under the pause, I swallowed with refusing to assimilate her possible next words. Cleaning and organizing his house in the mountains. Mom, done. I had cut her off with a warning tone. I had listened to her cry for hours in a row. I had witnessed her eyes full of tears, her hoarse voice and weak nose. I had avoided weakening in front of her. I had compressed my emotions so much that now I was paying the consequence of them. A mention of the subject and my feelings will, like hungry lions, fought against the fence, waiting to escape. Now that he is gone, the house will be a disaster, she had continually, completely ignoring my comment. This summer we will go as usual. No, the lions fought more and more to get out. We owe with him, she had internally expressed. You know that I will not force you to go, but in these weeks think about your answer. Then, with a kiss on my forehead, warm and affectionate, where she tried to show me all her understanding, she left me at the entrance of the school, with a weight of feelings and disposition being known as second skin. My remaining time was a week. The other two I used them completely. Every hour I looked for a new activity to do. If I were busy, my thoughts would fade. But now, with my limited time, panic take over my system. Since I can remember every year I have visited that house, my cousins and uncles we all share with my grandfather, who happily told us his histories of his supposed life as an adventurer. Most of my happy memories belong to that house and to him. I notice an unconscious bitter smile is moving across my miserable face. As soon as it comes, it leaves. The memory of his Alzheimer hits me so many times until it leaves my hair blending. As long as I live, I will make sure that your memory of this house does too. I had promised him due to his confusion of the owner of the property. My mom was right. I owed him. As the hours of our life shortened to the tear in my lungs, the palms of my hands were sweating. My right foot hit the floor of the vehicle constantly. Although the volume of my music was high enough to avoid any confirming comment, I kept listening to my grandfather's anecdotes, and that slowly had killed me inside. When the vehicle stopped, I am sure my hair packed up, extinct, and left. Two majestic mountains loomed before my view, like sleeping gods, waiting for the battle horn. The sky of the most beautiful blue, seeming to have even descended to appreciate its incomparable beauty, as the padded clouds anxiously touched the stone of these incredible worlds. On the, on the shore, like a long and wavy hair, the crystalline lake screamed for attention. He wanted to demonstrate his angelic beauty as well, while his waters were preparing for the show, and his almost greenish sweet due to the vegetation. Huge pines rose like an expectant public waiting for the artist. In the middle, like a shy girl, illuminated and reserved was the cabin. Its walls were made of the phoenix thrones, and its interior was more welcoming. I forced my feet to walk. I owe it, I owe it him, I owe it him, I told myself while I was walking. The lions began to fight because this time my grandfather didn't come out with his whole arm full of history to receive us. This had been the worst of my ideas. I wanted to return to my room, to its darkness, to its silence, to the comfort that it gave me where one morning without him doesn't exist. When crossing the threshold of the door, the smell of wood and coffee was blazing my nostrils. It smelled like the last time, the smell of him. The happy voice of my relatives took a back seat. I left the backpack of clothes on the ground, and the lighting And like gliding, I went to the mountains. I needed air. I stopped when I got the small dot where my grandfather used to fish in the crystal clear waters. From where I was, I had even more pleasing view of both hills. For a moment I strung because they were wonderful lurch. The pins began to move to the ring of an elegant waltz. Certain unruly leaves left their nets and beat me along with the ice breeze of the whispering of the mountains. My grandfather used to tell me that it was their son, symbolizing the peace treaty between nature and man, where the promise was hiding that when it was time, if we didn't protect it, these rock titans would get up and do it themselves. I would have liked to be like those warriors. I would have liked to protect him much more. He had such a pure heart that he deserved to be worshipped in a glass box, far from the reach of others. Maybe that's why I refuse to assimilate his death. I refuse the idea that the best people are the ones who live first. Very fast, they are too good for his depraved and selfish world. The guy who ran over my grandfather was selfish. He just ran away like the disgusting rag that he was. He doesn't mind leaving my grandfather purple and sore skin discarded on the road, as he were garbage, as if his life were worth nothing. He had gone out instead of his orange juice, like all the mornings. It was the most delicious juice he had ever tasted, made from freshly crushed orange from the farm of whoever sold them on that corner. To his bad luck, one of his Alzheimer's attacks attacking him mercilessly. It hit his brain so hard that he could not even remember his name, nor did he remember the street back home, nor did he remember that you should not cross the street with a yellow traffic light, almost red. Apparently, the driver also did not remember that you should not drive at high speed with a yellow traffic light. I suppose that many times we have all forgotten things, insignificant things, valuable things, but none had hurt as much as forgetting that it was me who had to accompany him that morning. I have no wanting to admit it, not even in my thoughts, my silence, the pressure of my chest, the cage full of lions, to decide not to come. It was all because of guilt. I feel so guilty, so hypocritical for regretting his death so much when I have been his martyr. There in front of the mountains, the lake, and the trees, it allowed me to do something that I should have done a long time ago. I allowed me to cry. I cried until my throat hurt. I cried so much that I felt the heaviness of my inflamed eyes. I cried so discontentedly that the air came heavier and heavier through my nose. And when I saw his worn fishing boots, I allowed me to promise myself that I will try not to feel guilty, that I will try to move forward. And I understand that even when physically he was no longer among us, his louder anecdotes, scolding and warmth from father and grandfather will still be alive right here in the mountain house.